look like a hardy soul, unconcerned with the prospect of death by trick, trap, or misadventure. How do you feel about helping a defenseless scholar from Gideon unearth a little history from Undertow Cavern? Oh, and can you swim?
That's a lot of questions all at once. Tell me what you need, I guess.
Have you heard of Phaelivon the Magnificent? He was a famous Nibonese Minotaur hunter, but his final resting place was lost to time. After years of searching, I think I finally found the site of Phaelivon's mausoleum.
Why do you need my help then?
I hope to recover proof that this is Phaelivon's tomb. His armor, helm, and sword would do nicely. But I didn't get far before I found the cavern overrun with goblins and minotaurs, and parts of it are flooded. I'll pay you well to help me.
Alright, let's search.
No one in Leowin realizes that Undertow Cavern is the final resting place of a great hero. Let me secure my belongings and I'll meet you inside. Time to grab the bull by the horns and wade right in.
You're very positive for this in a very dangerous situation. Why do you think this is Phaelivon's, where Phaelivon is buried?
I found accounts of Phaelivon's burial in a shining mausoleum on a hill outside Leowin. He was laid to rest with his arms and armor, relics of his many victories. This is the place, but goblins infest the caverns, and minotaurs too.
You mentioned goblins and minotaurs?
I suppose goblins aren't much of a surprise. They infest many caves in this region, although I had hoped I wouldn't run into any. The minotaurs I didn't expect. None have been seen so close to Leowin in centuries.
So where do these minotaurs come from, huh?
That's the very question I was wondering about. Wherever they came from, these minotaurs seem very hostile. Enraged, even. I've heard all kinds of fighting inside. I think they're angry at the goblins. Do minotaurs and goblins get along?
No clue. Yeah. This doesn't seem like a mausoleum, though.
That's because it was swallowed by the earth. One night, 700 years ago, people living nearby heard a terrible sound. When they came to look in the morning, they found that the whole mausoleum had fallen into the caves underneath the hill.
So why do Nibonese build mausoleums here, then?
Because the caves beneath this hill were the site of Phaelivon's last and greatest battle. The mausoleum was a monument to his victory, as well as his tomb. Until Undertow Cavern swallowed it up anyway.
And these relics we're after?
You would be, I suppose. Well, Phaelivon the Magnificent had a golden helm. He wore armor of impervious mail, and he wielded a sword of exceptional sharpness.
Tell me about the armor.
The stories say that Phaelivon had the most beautiful mail, impervious to sword, arrow, and spear. We don't know much about armor of his era, but he was known as the Magnificent. I can only surmise his armor was quite splendid.
And you're not being exaggerated?
Well, it has been many hundreds of years. I suppose Phaelivon's arms and armor might not be much to look at now, but in any condition they would be of immense historical value. I simply know it. That's the very question I was wondering. You would be, I suppose.
Sharp sword?
Phaelivon's sword was so sharp, it was said to be able to cut the air itself. No, that isn't right. I suppose any sword will cut air. Ah, that's it. This one could cut through armor like air. That's what I was told.
That's a great pitch. So that this Hanzuzo katana that you bought on Amazon can cut through air like it's air. Tell me about the helm.
As I understand it, the helm was a gift from the Lord of Leowin in gratitude for Phaelivon's many heroic deeds in Blackwood. The stories say it was fashioned in the shape of a roaring dragon's face. Well, it has been many hundreds of years.
Okay. Time to go. Nothing good. Let's go. And yeah, there's been also a few changes to champion points as well. A lot of the passes are a lot cheaper now, so you can afford a lot more of them, and then spend more time putting points into your slottables. So.
Just the sort of place goblins love. Darksome, dank, and foul.
Oh, nope.
Never met a goblin that didn't deserve that. Not one.
Yuri likes it when we kill goblins, it seems. Gotta find the first one here, right? Oh, here we go. Armor. Gold, quickly with silver inlay, gleam. This otherwise broken and useless armor.
His armor shone by the light of moons or sun. It's just too bad Minotaurs are enraged by shiny objects.
Sort of like crows, huh? Nope, nope, wait. Too far. Sword. Blade of a once mighty weapon is dulled and fragile.
I can just picture this sword cleaving savage Minotaurs. A pity it's dull beyond use now.
Here we go. Magnificent helm. Battered helm. Huge cleft in the center. Doesn't really look like a dragon.
Imagine how many times this helm saved the heroic Phalavon's head! Except that last time, obviously. The armor, helm, and sword are all badly damaged. Skeptics might say these could have belonged to anybody. We need to find Phalavon's Horn of Magnificence to settle the question for good. But where is the horn? Why isn't it here?
You didn't say anything about a horn before.
Phalavon's Horn of Magnificence was his greatest treasure. My grandmother told me he made it from the horn of a Minotaur lord. It had a brass cap inscribed with an intricate design. When Phalavon blew it, echoes rang from the hills for 7 days.
Grandmother told you about Phalavon. I thought you were a scholar, though.
I am. Mostly. But yes, I have
Mostly.
a personal stake in this. Phalavon is a distant ancestor. I grew up on stories of his battles, his magic horn. Oh, could this be about the horn?
What about the horn?
Grandmother told me the horn's note drove Minotaurs mad with fear and rage. But sometimes the horn called Minotaurs to battle even when no one sounded it. Maybe the Minotaurs are here because of the Horn of Magnificence.
That's details you should have given to us before we started this, you know. Sure your grandmother just didn't make up the story, though?
Oh, I wondered about that too. House Vero mostly died out long ago, but they were certainly real enough. We can trace a relationship to Phalavon's line on my mother's side. There is truth to my grandmother's tales. I'm certain of it.
Does anyone else believe your grandmother's stories?
No. No one outside my family remembers Phalavon. Almost all of the histories that recorded his deeds have been lost. Even his mausoleum vanished. But now I'm close to the proof that Phalavon really existed and was a great hero.
We got some moldy armor and all that, right? That's about it.
Beck, I hope you're watching.
Go.
Did you hear that? Phalavon's horn!
That was probably music for a minute. Hey, no skills.
I don't want to hurt you, but now I'm going to.
Horde of Magnificence. Let's go. Ancient Minotaur horn is made from the age ivory and inscribed with strange runes.
Phalavon's horn! Just as the stories described it. Did this goblin sound the note we heard?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like we can get out through here, if you don't mind getting a little wet.
You did ask if I could swim. Back to Blackwood. Get ready. Hi.
Finally, proof of Phalavon's legend. I'll be the talk of Gideon once I bring these trophies home. And yet, I wonder, did the goblins here cause their own troubles by meddling with Phalavon's horn? Or is it dangerous to just keep around?
Well, what are you going to do now with the relics you recovered?
I want to take them back to Gideon and prove, once and for all, that my family's story is true. Fame, fortune, festivities await. But if these relics, especially the Horn of Magnificence, are dangerous, perhaps I shouldn't bring them home.
But we have a choice. Destroy it. Enough that you know the truth. No, you should be fine. Just don't blow the horn.
You're right. Phalavon's magnificence deserves to be remembered far and wide. I'll take these historical relics to Gideon and prove the truth of my family's old legends. Thank you for your encouragement.
You're welcome, and hopefully no minotaurs attack the city because you're trying to prove it.
We may be bruised, battered, and wet, but these relics tell a magnificent story. Without your help, I'd never have learned about the fate of Phalavon and the Horn. Thank you. Oh, I shouldn't forget your pay. Visit me in Gideon sometime.
Sure.
I hope to see you again sometime. Although I must confess, now that I've finally found evidence supporting the legend of Phalavon, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do next.
Find a new mystery?
Don't worry about me. I shall set out at once, and I shall neither fear, fret, nor flinch from any dangers on my road. After all, I share the bloodline of a great hero. A few generations removed, anyway.